Hey guys, it's lycheepunnet. I'm here with El Prez and a special guest today for the To Love Ru second set review.
Second.
We have, yeah, second. We have the Night Shadow, who was the USA national champion for Weiss, who represented the US at 2015 Worlds using this very same set. Say hello.
Yo.
He played some jank crap.
Hey, that's what everyone's first impression was, including mine.
Well,
But
no,
then I
no, no.
looked at it again.
See, it doesn't stop it from being jank. It just means it's good jank crap. I play Gigant Shooter. I know what this means.
Are you referring to jank as in the aliens build in general, or
I'm referring
because
to
I
jank in mixing aliens with transformation.
in fairness, he did that with using cards that had both. Look, whatever your issues with his deck are, he won, and I think he did it in a way which
No, his
which
deck was
really
fine.
surprised a lot of Asia.
His deck was fine. It's just jank.
Yeah.
Jank is not
Regardless,
bad.
we're going to go talk about all of
Oh wait,
the newest
this is
the
great.
newest addition to what I think everyone can agree is a top or high tier set to Love and how it's going to affect the current meta yellow green build, and what new decks it will introduce. But before we do that, just a quick mention of our scoring system for those who haven't ever tuned into one of these casts before. We have a scoring system from good to bad. Good cards are. Do we have the graphic?
Yeah, we do.
Well, we don't have a graphic. We have words.
Oh, okay. If you want to make a graphic, we can get a graphic. We have text.
Cannot be bothered. Screen share whenever. So we've got good to bad. So good cards are cards you start in your deck. They are very good. They make you want to play the deck in question. They are cards which you want to have 3 or 4 of if they're suitable 3 or 4 of. Then we have playable cards. This is the majority of most sets because playable cards are cards which fill a role in your game plan. And since every Weiss Schwarz deck has a game plan at level 0, 1, 2, and 3, there will be a lot of playable cards in your deck. So, like, giving it a playable rating doesn't mean it's a card you won't play. It'll just mean it's a card you're less excited about than the good cards. Adding on to that, we have the niche rating. Niche is the rating we give to cards which need to be built around or need to be supported heavily in order to pull out their full potential. These may be really good. They may see tournament play, such as with Simple Gear Alchemists, or they may be abject, rude word, bad cards. As there are lots of examples of those, but and the last rating, bad, we reserve that for only a select few cards which actively move you towards losing the game, either because playing them in your deck is objectively worse than playing something else in your deck, and by objectively worse, I mean worse in 99% of scenarios, or it's a card which, when played, has a chance to totally screw you over with a risk that didn't need to be taken. We also have the meta rating, which is basically, these are the best cards in the set. You play the set for these cards. There's a longer explanation. I'll link it in the show description, but I can't be bothered explaining it because I just got off work. Anyway, we're going to move in starting with red this time because we're doing this rotation thingy with our casts. And that means we start off with a 1-0 Momo. So this card's name is Naked White Shirt Momo. It's a 1/0 4K. It gains 500 power for every other alien or plant trait on the field, so every pink-haired character, Run Ren, or Rito. And when this attacks, if Lovely Feeling, which is a stock soul, is in the climax zone, and you have 4 or fewer cards in your hand, you may choose a character in your waiting room with either alien or plant trait and add it to your hand. Thoughts?
Playable at best. I've been playing a little bit with the alien deck. It is possible to basically just play a really YOLO 8 stock soul deck instead, where you are lacking on hand throughout most of the game, and then this card becomes a little bit better as a result. But I also said it's YOLO. You are a little bit reliant on things going well. It is a costless plus, but the 4 or less cards in hand means that you can only finish a turn with 5 cards in your hand when playing this combo, unless you're playing gates and you happen to trigger a gate on the last attack only, in which case you end with 6. I don't know. I don't think the card is particularly impressive.
Well, technically, the attack phase comes before the trigger phase.
Yeah. So it's attack up to 5, and then you trigger a gate, and now you have 6
Oh,
cards in
what
your
you're
hand.
saying is, you'll max out at 5 unless you trigger a gate in the last attack. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it's okay. I mean, it's like not incredible. Basically, is what I'm getting at. Still a very playable card. I just don't know if it's necessarily better than the TD combo from the original set.
I agree mostly, though I would play maybe two of this without the climax combo, just for the power.
Yeah, something that the alien deck's really been missing is a 1/0 kind of oversized card, and this card definitely fills that role.
I've been having a lot of success actually with the 1/0 6K clock on core with a downside, but we can get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, okay.
That's fair. I think this
Objectively
card.
speaking by itself.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I think this card has taken way too much crap, but at the same time, it's nowhere near as good as those who claimed it was amazing.
They're comparing it to Magaro, and this is just not as good as that.
Yeah, I have words to
No.
say, but they got stuck in my mouth. No, this card is not amazing. It's not an instant 3/4 of in every deck. But by the same token, it is not insta-bad relegated to 100 yen double R status.
Yeah, it
It's
is
a
the most
1/0
expensive double
1/06K.
R in red, right?
I'm pretty sure that
think
the
it's-
Lala's more
I
expensive.
think it's 980 and Lala 780.
That makes no sense to me because the Lala is worth like more than 1K.
Oh,
Surely.
Lala's very good.
I'll bring up Yute, but
All
I think
the
this
value
card
got
is-
locked up in a runner that we'll get to later.
Oh my god, it is. Wow, this is kind of stupid.
Anyways, the card is
Yeah,
just
98.
playable for me. I can't give it above a playable rating because it isn't, but it's still a very solid card.
It's a playable card. I think that playing the Climax combo isn't terrible because Stock Soul is great, and who knows, maybe you do just play down to 4 cards in hand and play the stocks, or 5 cards in hand and play the Stock Soul and get back up to 5. I still don't think it's a staple by any
No.
means. Yeah, I don't even know if it's a nice addition to the alien deck.
Yeah, playable's as best as I can call it.
Alright, next
Or
card.
decent.
Yeah,
Alright,
So-
moving on.
our next
Oh,
card
yeah.
is
Very good.
Interested Eyes Lala. So this card is a level 3.
Oh, whoops.
I don't know why she got a second level 3 when she is almost certainly the. Well, that's not true. I don't know whether this points towards more to Love Root being released, but I really don't think that she should be getting another level 3 while Momo and Nana don't have them.
She is not even the main character of the second set series.
Was she ever the main character? I'm not convinced she ever
The first
was.
series before Darkness.
I mean, in the first
I'm
series,
not convinced she was the main character back then either. Maybe for the first like 20 chapters.
Officially.
Yeah, but then when they realized that the
Yui and
the poorly drawn Yui became very well drawn, I think they realized who was the actual main love interest. There's a very noticeable divide between poorly drawn Yui and actually well drawn Yui. Anyway, this card is a 3/2/9K. It gets 2K power if all your characters are alien or science, which isn't very difficult in pink hair deck. And it's an advanced summon if you have 2 or fewer climax cards in your waiting room.
also known as free.
Yeah, it's basically free because the Aliens deck runs a 1/0 Cyclone, as well as, well, the old deck used to brainstorm a heap. I don't know whether you'll keep doing that. I think you probably will.
Yeah, I think so. New Brainstormer's pretty
And
good.
yeah, I think it's alright. And
Yeah.
lastly, this card is a heal. I think it's good.
On all grounds, it's
One
a good
strike.
card.
I have a strike against this card, and only because the Resonance level 3 Lala from the first set is
Yes.
still playable.
Yeah, that's the
And
problem.
It overlaps with this card, and I think that's kind of why it's not as expensive as the Momo.
Rather than just the Resonance Lala being playable, the runner is what I really think loses out, because now you're playing, like, the Resonance cards have to by default be played at a 3 to 4 of. You could maybe muster 2 if you like the bluffing aspect, but I think 3 to 4 of for a runner is pretty necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that takes up a lot of your slots. And then say you're playing 2 to 3 of the Burn Momo, and I don't know how many of the Nana level 3.
Two
Like
at-
now,
two
I
at
think,
most. Two
yeah,
at
like
most.
now I think you only run 1 because it's
Yeah.
yeah. But this card takes up 2 to 3 slots as well, and
Which
it
is a lot of slots.
Yeah, like now you've got 4 to 6 heal slots, which is fine, I guess. But at the same time, it's not a finisher, and it really makes the 3-2 Resonance Lala seem really lackluster.
Well, that card was already lackluster on release, like, to be absolutely honest. It was super underwhelming. It wasn't, like, a very impressive healer. It couldn't be early played. You basically ran it because it had this glorious resonance target in this runner. And
The 1-0, the
the
1-0
1-0s are also,
yeah.
like, another reason that you might want to run it, but, like, honestly, I, for the most part, ran almost exclusively because I thought the runner was worth it.
I don't disagree. I think this card serves the role of advanced summon admirably well, and for that reason, I'm definitely running at least 2.
I don't know.
But
I'm also thinking 2 or 3. I don't know how important the Nana is anymore because I actually think the event can almost supersede her to an extent. So
you get rid of the you get rid of all but maybe you get rid of the 004K that let Nana be advanced summoned,
Yeah.
and then you play the Nana as I guess the target for your level 3 Momo combo if you still play that, as
Yeah,
well as an
sure.
additional finisher.
I don't know. I feel like the event probably does enough a job, although it's not particularly hard to put Nana into the bin if you want to play the Momo Gate combo anyways. So
Yeah.
So at most, for me, it's like a one of. I actually could see myself not running this at all.
I think that's fine because
If you-
the old deck just ran off value.
yeah, if you really value the old resonance targets, then I don't see you running this card either.
Well, the 2K
Oh, I'm
is
gonna
still
play
relevant. 2K to all others is still relevant. Runner's amazingly relevant still.
Yeah, I think the 1-0 Momo is very underrated by people. I don't see many people
that
running
card is
it.
good.
But
Almost
yeah,
is.
it turned your 1-0 Azusas into actual attackers
Like
rather
6/5
than just
beaters for a turn,
4/5s.
which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though that means you have a 4/5, it's still great.
Yeah, I think this card kind of is the same way. It's like it's not good enough to be good, but it's a very playable card.
Yeah, that's a reasonable way to put it. I actually think this card is good, but it's not. Oh, it's good because of its raw stats, but it gets dragged down due to its anti-synergy with the previous cards, I guess.
Yeah,
So it's basically like good with an asterisk.
Yeah, I mean, if the old, say, Delala resonated with the double arm Momo, then this card would just straight up be good and would be
Oh,
played
yeah.
as a 3 to
Yeah.
4 of maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. So
all right.
can't win them all.
Moving on.
Right, new card. Ways to confirm the love of an adult, Lala. This is a 00500. It's got, when another character is reversed in battle, you may choose one of your characters to gain 1k for the turn. So that's the, I guess, the Akane Brainstorm clause.
Yep.
And it, like the Akane Brainstorm, has a Brainstorm effect. Brainstorm, 1 cost, tap just this card, important. Flip over the top 4 cards of your deck and put them in the waiting room. For every climax card you revealed this way, choose a cost 0 or lower character, and put it on a slot on the stage.
So I think this card is fantastic. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this.
Momo, you grab Momo, you grab the Nana that resonate reverse. The only one that I can really see that doesn't really fulfill well with the first set is the Azusa clone. But other than that, like, there's so many targets for this.
Yeah, you can just like, well, you don't want to hit the Azusa. If you're running the 1-0 Clock Encore, this is a great target for that because it doesn't trigger the ETB effect, which can be problematic at times.
That is the thing. The ETB effect is why I don't want to run the 106k myself.
But it isn't 106k with Clock Encore. I have had very amusing moments where it went to stock and then I brainstormed and immediately put it back on the field.
Yeah. See, that's one of the eventualities that can definitely happen. But I still think
I like to call that anecdotal.
It is anecdotal, but like that is something that definitely can happen where it just goes to stock and you can get it right back. So this brainstormer makes that card less of a consequence, I guess.
Yeah,
of
course.
yeah,
the floor,
like the consequence gets.
the floor rises substantially when you have this on the field, and the first assist effect, which isn't technically an assist, but that first support effect is really frustrating for people to deal with.
I can see some really jerk moments where this is the only card you have on the field. You brainstorm hit 1, play the Momo bomb, and then attack and hit something. That would
I
But
cannot
the
tell you
Momo
how much.
can only put into back row, sadly. But
it's fine. Get another brainstorm. Do it all again. Now this card is it's a good card. I don't think I like it better than the old Salvage Brainstorm because you don't get to trigger common play effects, such as for the 1-0 Momo Bomb, which I assume people will still be running,
Yeah.
or the or of course the 1-0 Azusa, which I think is the real 1-0 that
Yeah.
your level 1 game focuses around.
I think losing those kind of sucks. Not being able to salvage your end game also kind of sucks. But if you are running things like the current set combo, the 1-0 Momo, or the TD Momo, this card ends up being
TD Nana.
or TD Nana, yeah. This card ends up being a lot better in those circumstances as well, because then you also just
Like it's
put those right
it's
to the
auxiliary.
yeah.
It's one of those build around me cards, basically.
Yeah. So like when you're building this, you're definitely like you're basically running a completely costless level 1 and 0 game, and then probably jamming a lot more of the early play healer.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a real jerk and pull a anti-salvage onto field with this.
You could.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
You could do
Like,
some really techie stuff.
I have really big plans for this in my yellow-red deck.
I don't doubt it, because this card does not specify any traits, which I think is cool.
Yeah, and what was it? The 1-0 that killed herself. She's also costless. So.
Yep. Red. Blue Italia run.
Was she 5,500 power or 6K?
5-5.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily better than the 1-0 the 1-0 from in red now, but it does have that early play option, I believe. So
The only reason I really ran it
you
was
run it
because
because you can run the
transformation,
boom.
and you could run the 1-0 Maya backup as well.
sure.
Mm.
Oh yeah, because it is transformation trait, so you do get the
Yeah.
Oh, so it's part of the insane value engine you have.
yeah. It's transformation trait, so you get to turn on the mail with that. Anyways, I think this card is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Even
it's
the
hard-
first effect
hard
is
to
fine for me to get it into good, and usually it comes with brainstormers.
This is it's in a set with a bomb.
Yeah.
Or it's in a set with multiple good bombs. Like, it can't not be good.
Yeah. All right. Next up.
So next card, Magical Witch Momo. It's a 001k level 0 bomb. It also has, when this attacks, if you have one or fewer other characters, you may mill the top card of your deck. If it's a level 0 or lower character, put it in any back row slot.
Woo.
Just a completely free plus if you sack out and mill a
Or
level 0.
you run top checkers.
Well, most of the top checkers in Alien, aside from the new Nana, don't leave the cards on top.
The new Nana looks at top or mill it, and then you also have the TD Nana or Momo
TD Momo.
TD Momo.
Which,
that,
Momo.
that also
it's
does the
top-
same effect.
top and mill. Yeah,
Which also serves as a climax out, which could be usable anyways. So you do have
sure.
two different choices for top checkers if you want it, which aren't awful to have if you're running the 3-2 Momo from first set as well, which reveals on top check. So it's not necessarily difficult to get this primed, but when it happens, it feels real good because it's just a free plus.
Yeah. And finally, hey, a level 0 bomb in red.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's actually pretty important, I think.
there were no bombs then in the first
In red.
set.
Yeah. No bombs in red.
It was the clock bomb, Yui.
Oh yeah,
Just great. Just great.
So
Yeah.
now we have the clock bomb, a stock bomb, and a real bomb.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Exciting.
No
Now we
bomb.
just need a bottom deck bomb.
Oh, that's never.
Do those
gonna-
exist?
No.
Not yet.
The blue persona bomb is only a bomb on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Anyways, this card is. I don't know if it's necessarily good, but it's very, very, very playable.
Hell yeah.
It's really sweet.
It's so good, honestly.
Like it's a very playable archetype with a random upside.
Again, this really contributes to the not like super contributes, but it does like kind of add to the brainstormer game plan of like a really cheap let's go in strategy. So I think the card is playable. I don't think it's good enough to be good either, but it definitely goes into my alien deck.
I think it's good mainly because it functions as the whole mill type thing. I mean, like any kind of mill early game is good, and
Yeah,
this one just randomly
definitely.
gives you free pluses.
Yeah.
Exactly, and free pluses are good in a deck which kind of uses brainstorms a lot.
Brainstorms very liberally. All right, moving on to 57. We should have put a not safe for work label on our video.
Should we? Oh, that's
Just
right.
no. You just put the some sort of notice like wait for the Blu-ray version or something.
Wait for the
Here's-
Blu-ray or something.
Wait for it. All right. My Firefox decided to kill itself, but the next card was the
It's the top checking Momo we were just talking about. Or yeah. Momo.
RM. No, yeah, it's Momo. So obstacle to the harem, Momo. When this is placed from hand to stage, check the top card of your deck and put it either on top or mill it. When another character with alien or plant attacks, this gains 1/5 for the turn.
So assassin type at level 0.
This gets really big, honestly. If you're also running the 0/0 back row brainstormer, like, it's possible that this actually gets like 8/5. It's probably not worth it to get it to 8/5, but you could.
I'm not convinced this is a good card.
It's a decent at best, I think.
I don't think it's better than the TD Momo for the purposes of
No.
scrying at all. I would probably max on that before playing this for that purpose. If I wanted another beater, I'd probably just play a bomb.
I think this would be a lot better if it was on when this attacks give it something else 1500.
I think so too. That would have been a lot better.
Yeah. As is, I think it does reach 4500, but I think it's just too niche in that aspect. I think the Momo's just better, the TD Momo rather, is better for the top deck check purposes.
I definitely agree because that card is just good in general because it has utility.
Yeah, I think the TD Momo is definitely where I'd rather be on than this. It doesn't make this card necessarily awful. It's just like definitely not as good as that other card.
I think the easiest way to figure out is that would I ever want to grab this with the 1/0 event, and I don't think I ever would. So
that's a really good thought. Yeah, I don't think I ever would grab this specific card.
Yeah, so this card gets almost a niche rating for me. I think niche is fine.
Niche, sure.
I can probably agree with that, but I still don't know if I can think of a specific deck where I'd run this.
Which is why I was leaning towards bad, but I didn't want to give it a bad rating.
I don't think. No, this card doesn't have bad effects on it, and there aren't like it doesn't supersede cards by that much. As like it's not a vanilla, and the top check effect is always relevant. But I think I can see where you're coming from because we do have a top check effect that outclasses it, and the other effect may as well be flavor text.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I see where you're coming from.
It is slightly outclassed, but sometimes you want more of those extra effects. I don't think you need them, but it doesn't hurt per se.
I guess, but
I mean,
I'd rather have more discard outlets for climaxes.
I would definitely rather, and I definitely would max out on that TD Momo before I play this.
Yeah,
that's for certain.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I think I'm just leaning towards bad now.
Dang, making me update my ratings.
I've still got this as niche, I suppose. Let's call it playable. It's a top check.
I hate you all.
Well, can I actually call this boring meta good?
I need to like create a script or something that lets me do this with drop-down menus.
Next card, opposing the harem, Nana. 002K. When this attacks, choose a character with either alien or animal, and that card gains X power for the turn, where X is the number of your other characters with alien or animal.
So plus 2K
this is
most.
Effectively, yeah, which is pretty good. And then it has the rather not good ability right now of 1 cost, kill one of your opponent's front row level zeros.
I still like that ability actually, and only because in case that they left their Akatsuki out and stuff like that. I mean, like those are cards I still want to pay 1 and kill because the alien deck doesn't really have ways to stock kick or clock kick, so I'll take it. But really, the power boost is actually relevant throughout the entire game, I think.
I think it's less relevant if you're running less of the level 3 Nana, but
Well, granted, but I mean, like, you still want your guys to be able to beat over stuff, and you won't always have access to the 1/0 Momo.
Yeah. I think the card is fine. Honestly, I think the best use for the pay one kill a thing is mostly going to be used for runners. You are in red. The Yui promo is not an alien, so this is the easiest way to deal with runners besides full fielding.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced. I don't want to pay one just to make my.
I agree. I don't think I want to pay for it either, but I think the card is fine.
Since a lot of games come down. It's an option, but a lot of games come down to out compression contests, and I don't know. I don't value.
It's still.
I don't value.
It's still not. I still can't see it more than niche, basically.
I have it as decent or like playable.
Sure,
because
that's fine.
The first ability is fine.
First ability is
fine. That first ability is amazing. Just for me though, I will take a 2% hit in compression just to be able to actually heal without having to pay an extra 2 stock.
Sure.
I'm like when you compare it to that granted niche situation, it does work out.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the only time I would actually wear one.
It's assuming they'll never get a Hibiki ever again.
Yeah.
Or a Vivid Red one or a Gargantuan one or whatever. But sure, that does mess with them a little. And in the case of Hibiki specifically, you're denying them a plus.
Yeah.
But in that case, yeah, sure, maybe I consider it. Because it's such a significant plus for Kankole, whereas killing a runner is not necessarily a significant plus for anybody.
Yeah.
I'm judging it based on the first effect alone, and it already gets a playable rating for me.
All right.
Yeah.
I still think it's niche. I don't think the power is as relevant as it used to be, per se. I don't think you're running as much of the old Nana. Not that it's bad, it's just not as relevant as it used to be. And the second effect is just a niche ability for me in general, so niche is where I'm sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Next up.
China Dress Nana. This is 1065. If the level of the character opposite this is higher than this character's level, this can't front attack.
There's no plus level shenanigans in red. I don't think this card is very good.
I think it's fine.
I think
it's a 6/5 beta, and you will usually be able to front attack with it until except at level 3. You could definitely just run one of this.
Okay, if you're running it, sure, one is fine, but
yeah. I don't see the point not to. I mean, it is an oversized beater. It's a card that just basically you can't attack with it at level 3. Oh no! So
maybe it's just because I think the 106k clock encore has been very impressive in practice, but
okay, fair enough. I mean, objectively speaking, this can do something.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely not a bad card. It's just it's definitely less effective in this deck than, let's say, if it was in yellow, because then you get to play with the 0/0 Mikan that gives everything plus level, and
well, at the very least, there is a way to increase your level, but only in animal decks.
Yes. Right? Well, no, Mikan is not animal. Mikan is
no Haruna from the TD. It's an animal card that 0/0 on attack give 1 level and 1000. So this
that's
can
not from
actually
the TD. That's actually from set 1. That card is very good.
The TD?
No, it's a Haruna that... No, sorry, the Yui is better. Sorry.
No, well, granted, but I'm saying, at least in the same color.
We're discussing the effects right now. The Yui is also the same, where it's come and play mill X on attack, give a character +1 level, +1k. And that makes this a lot better as well. So
that card is so sweet.
I love that card. Sweet. But this is definitely, I think, better in Animal than it is in Alien, but I don't think Animal's playing red anymore.
That's the thing. Animal does not need red except for the Brainstorm and some level 0s, I guess.
Yeah, sadly.
So, I think this is a better beater in Animal than it is in Alien. It's serviceable in Alien, but I think I'd rather have the Clock Encore.
I'm not convinced. Maybe more of the Clock Encore, but this card gets in at 1 at the very least for me.
I mean, 1 is fine. Honestly, I can't disagree with that sentiment. I don't think 1 is going to hurt you enough most of the time. It just is going to feel real bad if it ever happens, which, again, it's, rare. But this is the only card that you can attack with for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a 1-of, does that make it playable or niche?
Playable.
I'm calling it playable because you don't need to build around it, and you don't need to support it, because at 1, you can just chuck it in a deck, and it'll do its job. But if you have more than 1, and if you're ever stuck with it being your only attacking option, then you need to have either supported it or you're in a bad position.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's just playable. I don't think it fulfills our conditions for being niche. It's still like it's not detrimental,
And
but
obviously, it's not good
it's
because
not good.
Yeah.
It's
not a
fine.
4-roll.
The card is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, it's a
Alright.
climax out.
Okay.
Oh, an uncommon. So there are no rare level 2s or level 3s in red, for whatever reason. Emergency Evasion, Lala. It's a 001k. When this card is placed from stage to waiting room, you may pay cost, which is discard a climax from your hand. If you do, choose a character in your waiting room whose level is equal to or lower than your level, and add it to your hand.
This card is so awkward.
Outclassed by Momo TD.
Yeah,
End of story.
that's where I'm sitting.
That one costs stock, but I think the stock cost is much better than having to jump through hoops with this Lala, especially when, for example, well, okay, you don't do it anymore, but I've done plays where I salvaged the level 3 Lala in order to resonate with the 1-0 Momo.
Yeah,
That's probably not going to happen anymore, but it wouldn't have been able to happen with this card because you can't get level 3s with it while at level 1.
I think this
I
card
also
is just
think
really
that, yeah.
awkward.
The only
can't
thing that this
really set
actually
up
works
for it.
well is the treasure climax, and when are you running green in this deck?
Yeah, these two are not colors that should be mixed unless it's major green with minor splashes of Nana.
And in
Yeah,
which
I,
case, this is not an animal, so
That's
Yeah,
the
this is
question,
science.
yeah. I don't think this card is. I don't think it's playable. I also don't think it's straight up bad because it is a discard outlet, and you do like if you as soon as you get to level 1, you can get Azusa with it, so that makes this card a lot better.
But at the same time, like I think
It's
It's
so
just-
restrictive.
yeah,
if
it's
your opponent gets
unless you're playing over this, your opponent usually gets to decide when you get to activate this effect,
That is an issue.
right? Like you can never use this like grab. Well, you're never gonna actually use it to grab level 2 because like I don't know what level 2.
Well, you
is
can
really
you can
running.
run in with this.
But honestly, I find this card to be super unimpressive.
It might have been playable. You could choose a card, but you can only choose character. So
It's
Yeah.
not bad enough to be bad. It's not specialized enough to be niche. It's on the lowest end of playable for me.
it's
That's
it's
where
in the
I think
bad
I
section
fit.
for me just because I think that I would rather have a Momo every single time than this card.
that's
That Momo
totally
is a
understandable.
real house, though. That it does
Yeah.
everything that like I
Well,
want.
of course, but you'd rather have
Yeah.
that card than
I
this card.
always would rather have that card.
Yeah, so to me that signifies this is bad.
Well, that's a fair evaluation. I still think this is playable because it's not actually bad. Like just because you could be playing the Momo over this doesn't necessarily make this card bad.
Well,
And
granted,
there are situations where this might be better than the Momo if you want to save stock or if you want to. Okay, I can't really think of that many situations, but this card I don't think it suits gets to the bad profile for me because I don't know, maybe I'm just an optimist.
It's not detrimental enough, I think. It's just like super restrictive. I mean, the worst case is still a climax out, so that's where I sit. Why we need a not safe for work rating. 61.
61 is Trusting Heart Momo, so this has to be evaluated with Trusting Heart Nana. Wow, that's some serious censorship we got there. So Momo is the uncommon and Nana is the common because Momo is a better character than Nana.
Yes.
They are exactly the same character except Momo has plant trait and Nana has animal trait. And they have exactly the same effect except you replace the words Nana with Momo and vice versa. So this card is when your other Trusting Heart Nana attacks, if this is in the front row, you may choose one of your opponent's level 0 or lower characters in the front row and put it in the waiting room. So Nana has the exact same effect. When your other Trusting Heart Momo attacks, if this is in the front row, you may choose one of your opponent's front row level 0 or lower characters and put it in the waiting room.
I don't think this card is very good.
I think that as soon as you put this in your deck, you're probably doing more harm than good.
I
That's why I give this card a bad rating.
I agree. It
when
takes
when
up a
would you
lot
want
of
to
slots.
get 2 zeros characters? Like when would
Yeah.
you want to get?
If it said
Look,
cost
we-
0, I would probably just like shoot myself. But like,
Or if it didn't have that front row clause, I think
Yeah.
this card might be less than
No,
less bad
it's
than
still
it
pretty
is.
bad. It's still pretty bad.
I do agree.
Yeah.
It right as it stands, I can't see a reason I'd ever put this in my deck at all.
We're moving on.
Yeah, let's not look at these anymore.
Kind of thoughts, Lala. So this is actually a pretty decent card, I think.
Yeah.
1045. When another alien or science character attacks, this gets 1/5 for the turn, which is massive.
Yeah, so it gets it goes up to 7/5 if it's the last card you attack with
On offense.
on
only,
offense.
though.
Yeah.
And then it dies.
Which is fine because that's how the aliens build kind of work in the beginning, and it's
And I have
And then you get it back with your brainstormer.
of course.
which is sweet. I have a slight issue with this card in that it kind of fills the same role as your level 1 bomb,
Yeah.
but at the same time, this card has the advantage of leaving a card on the field afterwards, while the bomb has the advantage of killing cards that are bigger than 7/5 but are also bombable.
Which
It's
is-
hard to choose. It's hard to decide which one you want to play. I definitely want the bomb over this, but
I want the
this card
bomb
is
largely because the
playable.
bomb has additional utility.
Also, killing yourself is good because it means they don't get to farm on you.
Yeah. I think I prefer the bomb to this. That said, this card is still perfectly playable.
7/5 is pretty big. For
Yeah.
1/0.
Or costless too. And I
Yeah.
mean, like if you still decide to run the mobile, that's 9/5
Yeah. You can get it real big.
Really big.
before sports, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a lot. I think at best I'll consider this playable. I guess just it is a
seems reasonable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else can we say? It's playable. Invitation to Sweets. Nana? Oh, yeah, go on.
I guess I could say it's less censored than the other cards.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
true, but it
light
also
beams.
shows less anything than the other cards.
Well, besides the fact that her breast seems to get larger in this shot than some of the other ones.
No
Sure.
comment.
Maybe she just looks thinner in clothing. I don't know. Invitation to Sweets, Nana, 1045. When this is placed from hand to stage, choose an animal or alien character. That card gets 1 level and 1k for the turn. So the 1/0 China Twist does have support.
Ish.
I forgot this card existed. The problem with this is you're putting a 4/5 on the field, which kind of ruins the point of having a 1065.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this.
I'm
I don't think this makes the
I'm-
other card better. I don't think this card is worth playing.
rather, I don't think the other card is good enough to make this card viable.
Exactly.
I also don't think this card is good enough on its own.
Yeah, I agree on both counts. I don't see this card being played. It takes up a lot of, like, this is like some valuable level 1 space where you're already running level 1 Azusa's, level 1 bombs, level 1 everything, so I just don't see this making the cut.
I think that is the primary issue.
Being resistant to bombs, I think, is just not enough of a plus to get this card to
Oh,
even.
but it's not
decently-
It's not resistant to bombs unless they
No,
left
like
the bomb
it
on their side.
makes another card. It makes another card resistant to bombs.
Well, you can make it itself resistant to bomb if you wanted to too, but like that.
Oh no, you can select itself, but unless
Oh, yeah.
unless the opponent had left a bomb on the field, which
Rare.
isn't really that common, this doesn't really do anything. I don't
yeah,
think.
it just doesn't happen enough, and it's not
Yeah.
a good enough effect to do that.
Yeah.
It's straight to the bad for me.
I think it's bad because playing this means you're using up very valuable level 1 space, and
I'm
that's
agreeing on
that's
that.
bad.
I don't think
that's
that-
bad.
I think Aliens is really, really tight on level 1, particularly amongst all of the levels that it has. And
It's not as if you play level 2s, except maybe the event and maybe a counter.
the event is pretty sweet though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alright. Next card. Mini skirt maid uniform. Nana. It's a 1045. It has the ability, when this comes to play, you may clock yourself from the top of your deck. If you do, both players reshuffle their waiting rooms into their decks.
I don't know why you would ever run this.
I can't tell you how much I love this effect.
Well, you guys can argue. I'm gonna go make sure my food isn't burning.
You're basically doing the refresh process for your opponent, so you're like hurting yourself still. And then both players refresh, which means there are
Same.
awkward circumstances where you need to refresh, and your opponent also wants to refresh, and it's like it might not even be worth it to do this effect then.
Well, okay, granted, but I feel like this is one of the only ways to actually counter decks that like to super compress, and they have this one turn where they spend stock that they can recuperate it back the next turn.
How does this prevent super compression by forcing them to refresh?
Basically, like for example, at times when they had just finished leveling up, or when they spend their stock their level 3s, and
sure. If
it's more like an opportunistic type.
If they're coming off a refresh and then they level up, then you could shuffle those 6 cards back in. But is that worth pinging yourself for?
Considering that usually at that time I'm out 3 or more climaxes, and I want to put those climaxes back in so I can play the level 3 early in Lala.
Sure. In those circumstances, then you're paying for the healing immediately, right? You're able to clock yourself and immediately heal it out. In which case, you're getting pseudo compression off of this effect of 1 card, but.
It's a one-up for me sort of thing in my kind of deck, because I really like this effect, and on the off chance that I need it.
It's very techable.
I think a command reshuffle is good. Like a command reshuffle is good to have. It's not going to come to play every single match, but I think that this sort of effect, in order to advance play the 3-2, you can advance play the 3-2 naturally just by kind of holding back on the. Just restrain yourself. Don't play 6-1-0s. Only play 2 of the other side, I mean, and don't brainstorm every single turn. But if you really do like to go overboard, then this card can kind of serve as a backup safety net to let you play the 3-2 every time.
Yeah. I don't think this card is particularly necessary enough for me to want to run it. I can see the uses for it, but it just doesn't feel outstanding in enough circumstances for me. I could definitely see an argument, though, for a one-of tech, because there are circumstances where you probably want to have this, and in those circumstances, this card will be very good. I don't know, for instance, you're out 8 at level 1, and you have this card in your hand, you're just like, woo, living the dream.
Oh man, that happened so many times at Nationals.
Woo, living the dream. And in that circumstance, this card is fantastic, right? You pinged yourself 1 to not take 27.
Well, that is you refresh early. You refresh early. That's all it is.
Yeah, forcing a refresh early can or cannot, it can be useful at times, but I don't think you would ever run more than 1 of this. 2 if you think you're outstandingly unlucky, I guess.
I'm not. Okay, maybe I am outside of that. I still only run 1, but I think 1 is decent enough.
This card gets the niche rating because it is such a. It's really only useful in such fringe cases.
Of course.
Sure, but I think it's playable because even though it's only useful in fringe cases, it doesn't hurt to have it in your deck. It doesn't hurt to have it in your deck. It's not as if it's forced.
Yeah.
You were going to say something?
No.
Alright. I'm assuming playable, niche playable.
I'm saying niche playable, both, basically.
Yeah, that's fine. That is a rating we can put up.
We can make up ratings.
Right.
We do this.
Someone else read the next card. I'm carving food.
It is True Self Momo. It is a 2/1/2/5, so that's a lot of very low power. It has pay 1. When this card is placed from hand to stage, you may pay cost. If so, choose a character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So it's a pay 1 salvage on come to play. So it's a pay 1 plus. That's pretty sweet. When this card is reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a climax card, you may ping your opponent for 1.
That's so dumb.
This card seems questionable.
That is so dumb. That is not what's going to happen.
I don't know if you ever want this to. This seems really bad.
It's not really a plus. It's not really a pay 1 to salvage either, because it's a 2/1 character, so you're essentially paying 2 stock anyways.
Well, yeah, but you're paying. This is true because even though you're paying 2/1 for a 2/1 character, it's not a 2/1 character since it's only 2/5 power and doesn't have any other ability of note. Like if it was a level 2 bomb, maybe.
Maybe. Hey, the 2/1 bomb from set 1 might be a reason to stick to the Resonance game plan too.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that card existed.
Yeah, that Resonance is insane. It's
It's anti-level bomb. It's an anti-level bomb. It's great.
Yeah, I remember what it does now. I just completely forgot it existed.
This
so
card is gonna probably get a
take that as
bad
well.
rating for me. It just doesn't do anything.
It does something, but that something is
I,
like, why are you doing this? And if you ever have the
I
climax
agree.
card on top, that means you're going to be attacking with it, or your
Um,
opponent knows that the top card's your climax anyways.
Unless
And
You
if
can't
you
possibly know. There's no card that stacks the deck for you, so you can't possibly know you're going to reveal a climax with this.
especially
Yeah.
because it's when it's reversed, even if you did stack the deck, you'd have to be able to stack too deep,
which
That's the thing.
is it into Loveru?
which you don't have, yeah. Because
Yeah.
like you have to trigger first, and then it's like,
It's a pretty major issue, yeah.
like
Well,
it's a pay 2 plus that like sometimes does something else. It's just not worth it.
explains my moment to show our true self to Rito.
So I'm giving it a bad rating.
It's bad. It's bad.
I agree. It doesn't do anything. Well, it does stuff, but every time it does stuff, you think, why aren't I playing something else that does more stuff?
I mean, the 2-3 event is like already probably more fun to play than this.
Yeah.
Well, that card's just sweet.
All right.
Oh, it's awesome.
Jailbait.
Which jailbait? There's a lot in this. There's a lot in this.
Pink hair
Yeah.
jailbait.
There's several of them.
That's yes. So this card is Fun Harem Clan Nana. This is a 001k. Gives all your other level 0 characters a 1k power. Neat. And discard a card from hand to waiting room. When
Split soul.
oh hey they corrected the name here. When
Well,
rain.
no, the name's correct here, but it's not correct on the.
It's not correct in the actual card yet. So when rain, just like how it's always been, is placed at climax zone, which is the new split soul climax profile, you may pay cost. If you do, search your deck for one character with alien or sweets and add it to hand. Then shuffle your deck. This is a search card, I assume, because it's trying to play up on the Nana plus Maya friendship on something.
Except there are no Maya cards that interact with Alien.
No.
All the male cards interact with sweets or transformation. By the way, that is like the most confusing thing as to why like all Nemesis, Maya, and Yami cards interact with transformation for all three of them, and then their own unique trait that only appears on their own cards.
Well, technically, Nemesis interacts with both hers and Maya's on
Sometimes,
some cards.
Stuff like,
but usually it's just transformation Dango, in which case it interacts with all three of them anyways.
yeah.
Correct.
Anyways,
And also, like Clannad cards.
Anyways, this card is pretty whatever, honestly. It's not a plus, it's a hand fix. I don't think searching is that relevant, and the support effect is pretty mediocre. I don't really care if my level 0 cards are getting bigger. Most
There
of
is
the
a
time.
1/0 that gets -1 level on stage.
And
Yeah, that's the only thing that I would ever consider with this.
she is Run.
Ren and Kyoko.
No, it's not. It's
Is it Kyoko?
It's Kyoko.
Well, she's
And
alien.
Kyoko is an alien, so there's
She's
that.
alien flame.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
feed my
Burn,
ash.
baby, burn.
Feed my ash. I need it. This
And then-
card is honestly, it's going to go straight to niche. The first effect is a niche
Niche.
effect. The second effect is fairly niche as well. It's not actually bad. It's just like, I don't know why you would run this, per se.
Mm-hmm.
So towards the unplayable side of niche.
It's on the unplayable side of niche. It doesn't actively lose you the game, but I'm sure there's some way you can make this card work if you wanted it to. It's just probably not worth it.
I don't
still
think
wanna-
this card is. I don't think this card is bad. I just don't think it's good either.
It's just a real shame. This is the first card they decided to like showcase their new climax profile with, and it's just like whatever.
What was the first one they did for the Arch/Gate trigger?
For pants, wasn't it Ilya?
Was it Ilya?
I think Ilya.
It might well have been Ilya, yeah. And the
Oh,
Ilya
well.
pants combo is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, well, okay, never mind then.
I think
yeah,
it was
that's-
Ilya.
Okay,
Sorry for the chewing sounds. I'm very hungry. Next card.
sure.
No, let's
Oh.
go to the card after this one, shall we?
Just
After-
real
after-
quick for the people. This is the card we were discussing earlier as bad.
Okay, so
All right,
Lala this time.
moving forward, this card. I like this card.
I don't.
I know you don't.
004k.
Wait. Oh no,
this
sorry, not
person
this
had-
card. I thought it was the Encore. What the hell?
Well, it's Alien doesn't really care too much about reversing things based on power, so whatever. When this is placed from hand to stage, your opponent chooses a character of theirs, and that character gains 2k for the turn.
I don't know why
It's
you would
0,
run
0,
this.
4k.
I don't know why you would run this over the bomb, ever.
It's runnable over the old 4k Nana if you ever just want to run that as 4k.
I mean,
But at the same time,
I think
that
you're
Nana
out of
was better.
space. I think you're out of space.
the Nano's better, and
Level
Yeah.
0.
bomb.
Bomb.
I don't even know. This card is bad.
Like, if you were to play this, you would have to play it very first turn, and that's it.
This is the kind of card that could actually lose you the game at level 3.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yes, because Nana does have an on reverse burn. Yeah. So that clinches it. This card is bad.
This
Okay,
is
that.
this is the kind of card that like actively will lose you a game at level 3 sometimes, like if you chose to run it. I don't know what to say. Next. This is the card I was
Okay.
talking about.
High energy being approaching. Lala, 106k. When this is placed from hand to stage, mill 2 cards. If there is a climax card there, put it in stock.
I think this is
Put
the,
this in stock. Put this in stock.
I
Sorry.
think this is the best common I've seen.
Oh, so it has clock on core.
Yes.
Good card, I think.
I think the card is very playable. The downside, honestly, isn't that bad because you do have the Brainstormer, as I was discussing earlier. Most of the time, you're not playing this from hand. Most of the time, you won't mill a climax either. When you do mill a climax, at least you get a stock for your trouble, so it only really hurts when you have no hand. And the irony is, if this does end up going to stock, and you are running the 1-0 combo from this set, the Stock Soul Momo, then you actually manage to dump a hand to get like another card in hand for stock, and then you can just like get more pluses off the Stock Soul. So like again, these are all fringe cases. Most of the time, it's just a 106k clock encore with no downside.
I played.
Most of the time.
This card seems very playable, yeah.
Like I think this is the go-to level 1 beater of choice if you're choosing to go a little bit more ham on the cost 0 plan.
I don't know if I would play this over the 1/1 just because I still like the 1/1 Nana for the
Yeah.
first set.
I like the one
Personally-
a lot.
But this definitely would compete for the same kind of slot because they're both special encore characters. This one mills, the other one is just more
Bigger.
powerful. Yeah, and is character discard encore, which is
I, pref-
arguably better in Alien
I think I prefer the clock encore in Alien.
because
But-
you're
Yeah.
taking clock damage already from the 1/0 event.
And one event.
I don't know if you're
Well,
running.
no, yeah.
I don't know if you're running this with the event though.
Oh, then that's true. Then yeah. I mean, you're running the brainstorm instead, so yeah, I don't think you'd run the 1/1.
Because like I feel like
Still.
the brainstorm and the 1-1 event are almost a little bit exclusive because of like how they kind of approach their game plans.
Yeah. So this would be the clock function. Okay, sure. In those kinds of decks, then yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little bit different build on the Alien build. I think this is better in that build. I think the 1-1 Nana is better in the build that you're running the 1-1 events and you're building a more value-oriented plan. I think this is better in like a more like ham sandwich soul rushing type strategy where you're running a lot more stock souls and such. Because
Gotcha.
this works, and again, we're going back to like YOLO Town. Like if you're running like the old 0-0 stock soul from set 1 that mills 2 to like put cost zeros on the play, like you will feel really good when you hit this.
Oh yeah.
Like this is definitely the kind of card that makes your opponent really frustrated.
So good.
I think it's playable. I don't think it's that good.
Okay.
In the worst case, it is still just a 106k clock encore, and that's really playable enough. So, I give it a playable rating. I think it's the go-to beater in that build, but that doesn't make the card necessarily good.
It's just almost good, almost, but not quite.
Yeah. So I think
So,
we're gonna
playable.
on playable here, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead
what
and
I've got it as.
update everyone's rating to bad because next is vanilla.
And it's the 1/2
worst-
vanilla too.
Oh no! You see, this
One-
was really funny when talking with other people in chat because he was like, "It's a 1/2 vanilla. It has like 2 soul, right?" No,
It's the increased power version.
this is
Yeah, because the 1/2 2-soul vanilla is a 7/5.
this is
This card is so
awful.
bad.
Moving
It's
on.
everything I hate about this game.
This is
Fluttering Feeling Momo 2-1 2-5. It's a 3k backup.
isn't there an anti-change counter in red?
Yes, but
Anti-change.
you have to
That's
ditch
one way.
2 alien or
No,
animal
it's any card.
characters.
It's any card. It's the change that requires you to ditch specific traded characters.
Yeah, it's specific. You can ditch any 2 cards. It's still not good.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm not running a 3K vanilla counter in my alien
Yeah.
deck.
Not when the other one exists. This card is perfectly functional, but then you remember that the other card exists.
I mean,
And
like,
500 power
losing
is
the 500
not
power
big
for
enough.
like the fringe case where I have enough cards in my hand that I can just afford to like ditch 3 and kill a thing. Sure.
Mhm.
But this card definitely doesn't fly. Basically, I'm gonna give it. It's still a playable card. It's just like I don't know why you would play this over, unless you really wanted the 500 power.
And then in the yellow-red, you'd want yellow in this case instead of red. So
I mean, if you're in yellow red, you're running enough transformation that you can just make the Mayo work probably.
yeah, and then 1 copy of the Yami from the. So I mean, just I don't think I'd run this.
Like I don't think it's bad. It's just
It's
why,
not. It's just
you know.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next card now.
Yep, next card is
A wall of
Oh,
text.
Natural Little Devil Lala. It's a 2175. When this is placed from hand to stage, it gets X power, where X is 500 times the number of alien and science characters you have. 1 cost, discard whatever that climax name is. It's a gate, I believe.
Kiss.
Yeah, it's a comeback
What's
trigger.
ahead of a kiss? Of the kiss.
Yeah. And then sack this card. At the start of your opponent's attack phase, you may pay cost. If you do, choose up to 1 Kind Thoughts Lala in your waiting room and add it to your hand. Choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character gains the ability, this cannot deal damage to a player. So the Kind Thoughts Lala is the 1045, which got 1/5 power every time something else attacked.
Okay. I don't know if I'd run this. The card is very cute. It comes in, probably kills something, and then it replaces herself, but you need to hold the climax for the anti-damage.
Mm.
It's
At the very
definitely
least,
a
it's the
lot.
start of attack phase.
Yeah,
So
it's
you don't.
definitely a lot
You will
better
refresh
than
it?
the Archer Shiro crap that was at the beginning of draw phase. That was a tragedy.
I think that card is funny because that card just mills you the hell out. This card is... I don't know.
I don't think it's worth it. I don't think sitting on a climax. I don't think paying 2 stock and maybe killing something. I don't think this card is worth it.
I'd have to play this. I think this is one of those ones where I'd have to try it out firsthand and see what it does for me. Because
Sure.
it just seems a lot of jumbly mess, and it looks bad, and but it could be playable, and I don't want to just dismiss it outright.
It being level 2 is so awkward, though. Like, I generally don't like playing level 2s.
Yeah, but you
And-
can't
I'd
really
rather
use
have
that
the
to
option
dismiss
just in
this
case I
card.
have to, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to run the card, there's nothing stopping you. But usually level 2s means you're cutting into your level 3 lineup. And the level
Mhm.
3s in Alien are pretty solid. So,
Oh yeah.
That's a good point.
Like
I guess the card gets a niche rating for me. I think there are too many moving parts here to make it anything more than that. But I don't think it's, like, actively losing you the game.
Well, it's
Yeah.
niche. It's definitely niche.
if there's a question mark, I'll take that. Otherwise, just niche. Because I need to play with this card before I do it. Before make a judgment call.
I like that this card sacks itself if you can pay the cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really sweet.
No reverse effects, no clock kick, and also anti-damage, so you block a lot of stuff.
I mean, I guess against certain decks, this card is a complete house. I would imagine that, like, Kantai would not be happy playing against this at all.
Nope.
I mean,
Well,
against
then
some
a
decks,
clock
it
kick
does
and then-
nothing.
Yeah,
Stop
and
Musashi.
then you're playing against, like, other two lover, and you're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
Anyways, 2-1, Nana, Psychokinetic Accident.
So this one is just clearly worse than... Oh, well, let's talk about it first. It's a 2/1/7/5. If you have 4 more other alien or animal characters, this gets -1 level in hand. I think this is clearly just worse than the first set 1/1 Nana, which got to 7... It became a 7k level 2.
With hand on
But it was a... Yes. But it had hand uncle, and it was a level 1 for your 1/0 bomb to fetch.
and then it
um,
got pumped by your 1/1 back rows. Yeah, this card is
And
definitely
you-
just worse than the other one.
And I just don't
Yeah,
like
I
the fact
mean-
it has a soul trigger. Like, you don't need...
Well, that's also fair as well.
Hey man, if it didn't have that soul trigger, that's an extra 1,000 power on the body.
That's still not a level 1.
Yeah, Momo pulling this card onto the field is really, well, back card onto the field was
Yeah.
really good. Whereas here it's like, well, I guess I can't do much.
I don't think you play this card. And even in
Outclassed.
Animal, like, you have a better option in Animal.
Animal's not playing red, right? So
Yeah, you're not playing Red and Animal anymore. So, what does the card get?
bad.
Bad.
I think it's a bad.
Outclassed, basically.
And next.
Next card is Twin Princess Nana. It's a 2/2, 500 power. Well, this ought to be good. All your other alien or animal characters gain 1/5 power. When this is placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 1 or lower, put it into stock.
So it's a level 15 for 1 stock, ideally. That dies to Kaiki.
I don't know how relevant Kaiki is. I don't know how relevant Kaiki honestly is, but yes, that is
I don't
what
like
it
this
is.
card. I don't think the power is worth it, and I don't think this card is worth it. Although, I guess in the worst case, it's still a 2-soul beater.
Oh yeah, it
You've
is.
already-
What the heck?
It is 2-soul, which is a good thing, I guess.
I guess.
You already have a promo level support and a normal 1/1 level support for Alien.
And I like the promo level support because you can check top card with it.
Yeah, that's a good card. Whereas I don't think your level 1s, even with a 1/5 boost, get big enough to threaten anything.
No.
So even if we consider this a 2/1 support, I don't know if it would be played. Well, actually, if it was just... I still think this card... I think this card is better than bad. Better than bad, but not good at all.
It's
I don't
kind
think-
thought's not valid to 11,000.
He does get killed by Kaiki.
Oh, Kaiki. Oh, Kaiki.
It gets the die to Kaiki rating. Dies to Wingslayer.
Yeah. Like, you spend a lot of stuff on this. Like,
I don't think this card is worth the resources, and if you ever miss on the reveal, you're just going to feel so freaking bad. I don't think this card is bad enough to be banned, though. So it gets to be the rock floor bottom of playable.
For me, like, the way I see it is that in order to avoid being Kaiki, you need to run the Global 500 Nana from the first
I
set.
do not want to run the Global 500.
You don't want to
have-
run that, but the thing is that if you reveal a Climax card, you do put that Climax in stock. So you want to really brainstorm it out. So you want to have a brainstorm in the back, or at least that costs 0 brainstorm. So you won't have room for that 500 anyways, even if you did want to run it. So that, to me, completely nullifies it from ever being played.
Oh, so let's keep in mind that even if they do have the Global 500, all they have to do is play a Kaiki, kill the Global 500, and play another Kaiki to kill this.
No,
Yeah.
because they have both. That Global 500 is 2k power. This is pumping it by 15. This is a Global 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, they can play 2 Kaikis killing this one.
Oh,
my bad,
no.
my bad. I was, well, if you had 2 Kaikis, I guess you just kill this straight up, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I tried, but I didn't quite get there. Whatever. I put this
Kaiki
card
don't
as...
care. Kaiki don't care.
This is not how
This
globals
card-
work.
I don't think this card is bad, per se. So I have to give it a playable rating, because it's definitely not niche.
This is the rock floor bottom of playable.
I would say it's bad because there's literally no reason to run this.
Sure. And finally, my favorite card in red,
Oh, of course.
obviously.
Special Beam. 2/3 event. Rest 2 of your standing alien characters. If so, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Then, deal 1 damage to your opponent.
Sounds really good.
You know what other card deals 1 damage to your opponent, then deals 1 damage to your opponent?
Is it Yami?
Yeah, it's Yami.
Oh, sick.
See, that card's pretty good, so this card's got to be pretty good.
This card
Or
is...
no, a front attacking Haruka.
This card is obviously less good than Yami. But...
You're right, the 1/1 Haruka does do that, but you also take pain. Still, this card is great. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't run 2 or maybe even 3.
I think 3 is probably the right number.
Is 3 pushing it, though? I mean,
It
you
could
have
be
to-
pushing
I think
it,
3
but
is a bit hard.
the version that I'm running right now in Aliens is 8 stock souls, so I kind of can
Oh,
get
yes,
away with
okay.
it.
Fair enough. But I think
But I don't think
I
that's
don't.
like actually the right build going forward, like in the long run. So,
Yeah.
that
Most
said,
4 stock
that
souls.
said, this card, if you have enough stock, definitely lets you kill an opponent from 3-0 to dead in your main step.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Like, if you had 12 stock, you could play 2 of this event and 3 of your Momos and just deal 7 damage. In 1 damage
One,
pains.
1.
You said nothing factually false there, but I have objections. And
There are plenty of objections with this. I mean, like, honestly, you
First
probably
off,
just play
12
one.
stock.
You probably just play one. The only reason why I want 3 is so I have one in my hand. I just want one. I want one.
I would play 2. I would play 2.
I think 2 is enough to get one in your hand.
Yeah.
I don't like
Over the
playing
course of the
only
game.
2 in an event because it means I have to sit on it at times.
Not necessarily. Like, and besides, like the alien deck just goes through. It Akatsuki's its way to everything. So
But this is not an Akatsuki-able, it's an event.
that's fine. It just means you keep the event when you draw it, and then you Akatsuki for everything else.
Considering your hand size, it's okay to just stockpile 1 card in your hand.
But
Mhm.
yeah, this card is great. Honestly, I think this is like one of the biggest reasons to be drawn to Alien, given the second set.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
This gets my my red meta rating.
I
don't
agree on
think-
that. Actually, I agree on
We
the
we don't have a quota for meta.
What
In
the
every
issue with
color.
the issue with Two Lover two, there's 2 twos there. Two Lover two is that like you
Lover
basically
second 2, volume 2.
whatever
Whoever second.
second. Is that you have like 4 now, I guess. 4 distinct Two Lover decks, right? You have the old Transformation Housework deck, you have the Alien deck, you have the Animal deck, and you have the new Nemesis deck. Right? And
Yeah.
largely, these decks are pretty exclusive. They don't share a lot of cards between each other. Right? So, the way I see it, like, I'm treating this card as the meta card of choice for the red deck. Because, like, you have basically 4 distinct decks being built out of Two Lover. Anyways,
Okay, fair enough.
this card is honestly good. I don't see it being less than good. It's definitely better than playable. Deal 1 damage twice is pure evil, and your opponents are also going to feel real bad if they cancel both burns.
Yeah.
Card is sick. It's a good card for sure.
I'm giving it
Can you
good meta.
Can you say it's meta if you're not running 4 of it?
Yes.
Because
Yes, you can.
meta does not necessarily mean you run 4 of it. Meta means it's a good card in a given in the current meta.
Like for little busters, you're running money counter and you're running anti-heal. Neither of those are 4-offs.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, money
Sure.
counter might be a 4-off, but anti-heal definitely not.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you on that, Chris.
All right. Well, I think that ties up red. We can probably move on to blue. I don't know how long we've been going, but
We have
Probably long
been
enough
going for an hour and 7 minutes.
right.
We can just cut the video and we'll be right back.
yeah, we'll cut it here and be back.
Yo yo.